I would like to call the Regional Council meeting to order. Welcome everybody to tonight's meeting, and I'm happy to acknowledge the traditional territories of the Fort Nelson First Nation and the Prophet River First Nation. We recognize the rights inherent in our treaty. We further celebrate the Dene, Cree, Daniza, Casca, and Métis cultures that call this region their home. Please be advised that tonight's meeting is available for the public to attend virtually. It is being streamed and recorded. Are there any additions to the agenda tonight? Staff, none? I have a couple. I would like to move for the closed delegations to accommodate them. I'd like to move the closed meeting up to the start of the meeting. I'd also like to move agenda item 8.5, which is 8.4, which is the letter from Minister Kang, forward to the correspondence for discussion. So that'll come, 8.5 will come after 8.2. All right, can I have adoption of the agenda as changed, please? Councillor Souls? Seconder? Councillor Gerwing, thank you. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, so if we can go to resolution business item number 13, resolution to move to a closed meeting. So I'd like a resolution that we close this pursuant to section 91C and J of the Community Charter, labor relations and information that is prohibited or information that if presented in a document would be prohibited from disclosure under the Freedom of Information and Privacy Act. Moved by Councillor Souls, second by Councillor Gerwing. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. We'll go on camera. I suspect that we'll be back at 7 o'clock. Into the room. So thank you. I would like to reconvene the regional council, the regular regional council meeting. We adopted the agenda. We are at item number 4, adoption of the minutes. There are 5 sets of minutes there. Committee of the whole, March 6th, March 8th, March 13th, the regional council from March 13th, the committee of the whole March 20th. A motion to adopt those minutes, please. Moved by Councillor Dickey, second by Councillor Enex. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of adoption? Opposed? Those are adopted. Is there any business arising from any of those minutes? Staff? No? Okay, thank you. This is opportunity for the public comments. Are there any public that would make a comment, that would like to make a comment about tonight's agenda? Is there anybody online? Okay. There was not a rise in report. Yeah. Okay. Reports and bylaws, administrative report administration report number 1323, the Nonda Creek Road public survey results. Thoughts? Would like to receive it for discussion, or we have staff coming in? All right.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, councillors. So before you is just a for information report regarding a public engagement survey that we put out for a 3-week period regarding use of the Nonda Creek Road. So the report identifies that we did receive 1,176 responses over the 3-week period. And there's a summary of the survey responses included in the report. I just wanted to touch a little bit on next steps. So we are intending on providing the results to the Ministry of Forests so that they can develop a what we heard report as they committed to. The ministry has expressed an interest in exploring opportunities about the future of the road as far as future tenures and obligations and liabilities for the road itself. So it's just something for council to keep in mind. The province will look at funding opportunities in regards to restoring fish passage. What that might look like will be determined by their biologists. And then they'll explore opportunities for funding based on that. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Is there any questions? Ms. Thompson, comments? Councillor,
Just in the report itself, did you reference in the report itself the number of respondents? I see you got it broken down as percentages, but the percentage of people that wanted various things done.
So under the, just on the bottom of the first page, under the analysis section, it's
Oh, there it is.
right
Okay,
at the
sorry.
very bottom.
I was
You're
looking
not
for
the
it.
person asking the questions. I should have probably made it a little more prevalent.
No, that's fine.
Is there a timeline? I know that there's a engagement meeting coming up with the Ministry of Forests soon. Is the plan to put it there or just give it to the forestry and let them decide how they'll roll it out? What's the next step there?
So the meeting that we had with the ministry staff was essentially to put together that report and then continue conversations through things like the Northern Rockies stakeholder meetings. But in the meantime, I guess this spring, probably after the snow melts, have a biologist go out and just take a look at what options may exist or what work may need to be undertaken to restore fish passage, and then use that as a determination of what funding may exist. But there was no timelines associated with that.
I think that meeting is somewhere towards the end of April.
Mhm.
So I would like to see us get that put on that agenda, right? If not for discussion, at least for an update,
Mhm.
so that this information can be put into the public realm. Because it surprised me actually. I think it was 77% wanted to see the road maintained, open to road traffic. That surprised me that it was going to be that high. Actually.
Yeah, you know, with those numbers, that's a staggering amount of people to respond to that survey, like 1,100 and some people, and 77%, that puts it at like 850 people that believe that we should have road traffic again there. And remember that the meeting that we had with the Minister of Forest that said that they don't anticipate ever driving in there again.
Yeah.
And yet here the people are speaking saying, yes, we want to drive in here. So yes, we better get it on an agenda.
Yeah. And I think Ms. Thompson alluded to the fact that there would be in discussions, you know, about liability and potentially road tenure and how all that might.
Mhm.
You're right. It's still a very good turnout for this. So
The Nonda Creek Road is typically on the agenda for the Northern Rockies stakeholders meetings,
Yeah.
but I'll reach out to Darius Lowe, who's the district manager, and just ensure that that's on the
yeah,
agenda.
I just saw a call for agenda items there. So okay, good. Thank you. (7.2) is Administrative Report 1423, the Chamber of Commerce Trade Show 2023 requests for discussion. Would you like to make a comment?
Yes.
Okay, please do.
Was there a report to be presented ahead of time?
I think
Okay,
Harvey's here to
do your
kick off the-
report and then I'll. Yeah, okay, thank you very much, Councilor Hooper. On March 13th, the Chamber of Commerce had a request to council for the sponsorship of the trade show. And with that, there was a couple of other requests that went in to waive the fees for the dry pad for that day. There was another request about inflatable castles to be used, and that would have been on the second base surface or a dry pad. With that all included with the $15,000 for the sponsorship and the waiving of Arena 1 fees, and the secondary ice rental pad and the 2 inflatables with the staff came into a cost of $20,853. I have spoke with the chamber, and the first 2 items I believe are the most important 2 items, but we do know that there is a cost if the inflatables were allowed to occur with the waiving of.
Comments or questions? for Mr. Whitlam, please. Councillor. Roper.
Just some comments, some notes that I put together. So the Fort Nelson and District Chamber of Commerce provides a very valuable service to the local business community. So our final decision on this request doesn't just impact one organization, but I believe the whole business community as a whole. Supporting the Chamber's full request is a good way for us to demonstrate our commitment to promoting economic growth and supporting local business, which are very important priorities to our municipality. The trade show will attract visitors to the region, boosting tourism and benefiting many local businesses, including but not limited to hotels, restaurants, and shops. The trade show will provide an opportunity for local businesses to showcase their products and services, network with other businesses, and potentially attract new customers, which could help them recover from the economic impacts of the pandemic. The proposed waiver of facility rental fees, provision of inflatable toys with staffing, and a one-time sponsorship of $15,000 will reduce the burden on the financial burden on the chamber, which we know that they will struggle to recover the costs of hosting the event. By not supporting this request, there may be an incentive to cancel the trade show, which will then just rely solely on registration and participation. Cancellation of the trade show could result in a loss of revenue for the local business community. This could have a ripple effect on the local economy with fewer dollars circulating in the community. The trade show provides an opportunity for residents to connect with each other and learn about new products and services available in the region. The cancellation of this event could result in a loss of community spirit and missed opportunity for residents to engage with their neighbors. The trade show is a significant annual event in Fort Nelson, and its cancellation will negatively impact the community's reputation as a vibrant and active place to live and do business. This could have a long-term effect on the region's ability to attract new residents, businesses, and investors. The Chamber of Commerce relies on the revenue generated by the trade show to fund its operations and support the local business community. If the event is canceled, the Chamber may need to reduce its services or increase fees for its members, which could have further negative impacts on the local business community and the economy. The cancellation of the trade show could result in a loss of morale among local businesses, particularly those that have been hit hard by the pandemic. The trade show represents an opportunity for businesses and nonprofits to come together and support each other, and its cancellation could exacerbate feelings of isolation and disconnection. I don't believe that the grant and aid of $1,000 or any one part of their request will be enough to support the successful execution of the trade show. I think this request could be funded from general surplus as to not raise taxes for the 2023 year. And perhaps any surplus funds left over from the 2023 trade show could be applied to future trade shows. So I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts around the table, but I think there's a clear benefit to supporting the full request from the Chamber of Commerce.
Anybody else have any comments or questions for Councillor Roper? Councillor Souls.
You got some really good points there, Councillor Roper. The I see the ones related to the lack of having a trade show for quite a number of years has negatively affected us overall. I think that when I originally heard this, I thought, this is a bit reluctant to support the idea of putting money into a for-profit system that's part of our community. But at the same time, that if we don't actually put our best foot forward somehow as a municipality and show that we want to see it come back to life and see it, so I am in favor of putting something into it, whether all of it or some of it. I have to think so, but it's a good idea to support.
Oh, sorry. Got you on my blind side there. Councillor
Yeah.
Kerwin, please.
Yeah, so good points, both Councillor Roper and Councillor Souls. My initial feeling as well was to support the fee waivers for the ice surfaces, but not the $15,000, just because I felt that the $15,000 would have a tax implication and that the fee waivers wouldn't. So I don't know whether it's possible to fund the $15,000 out of a general surplus. I don't have access to what that general surplus happens to be, but as of right now, I would support a motion to do the 2 fee waivers for the primary arena, the secondary arena, the 2 inflatables and required staff, and the sound system. That's where I'm at right now.
Any other comments? Questions? So I have a question about insurance. So when because I think when we do the inflatables, that we have to provide our own staff for that, right? So does MIA look after that insurance, or do we need extra insurance?
No, that insurance would be covered in what we already have because it's our devices done by our staff. And everything would be the same. That's why, yeah, that's.
So that MIA would cover that then, essentially.
Yeah.
'Cause that's our
the
insurance,
Insurance
right?
provider.
Okay. Does the general surplus, is there enough money there?
Last time I answered this, I correctly got it. Director. We should be okay, or financial stabilization, or one of the two. There are funds if council wish to use them that wouldn't have to be taxed this year. If council wish to use them.
Councillor Dickey?
I'm actually leaning towards all of the funds because of the COVID and not having anything happen for the last couple of years. And I think the community would really look forward to it, really support a trade show. And if this is the amount of money that it's going to take to make it happen, I'm in full support.
Councillor Roper, did I hear you say it would be a one-time contribution?
Yeah, so this is just a one-time contribution, call it an incentive or kickstart. And like I said, if they are successful, if they do end up making some funds, I mean, that can only benefit the trade show for next year, I'm sure. So this might not just have an implication for this year, but trade shows in the near and far future, who knows?
Yeah, I had a note to myself, actually at the end of the last meeting, I talked about a, potential one-time recovery grant. There are other, provincial agencies mainly, I think, that are doing these recovery grants to assist and help businesses and our associations move their projects forward. I was leaning towards the primary rentals and secondary arena rental myself as well, and because we just don't have any kind of a policy that would allow us to grant that kind of money on a one-time basis. Though if council feels that the entire grant is success or is acceptable, we have the money, and if it's a one-time grant, then I think I could support that. If it was, we could call it a recovery grant and keep it outside of the policy process that we have, right? Because we're in the process of looking at reviewing the entire grant process, and I don't know if staff is coming forward with it, or if we've given them direction to sort of have a one-time grant opportunity in there for some organizations, and I'm not sure, but that's coming forward to us. Like I said, I was somewhat reluctant, but you make some very good points, and yeah, so I think I can support this. Is there any other comments? Councillor Enox, did you have any comment?
The trade show, everybody looks forward to it. I know it's been a struggle for everybody. All the not-for-profits are suffering. The chamber's not doing better than some that I know of. Yeah, this is a one-time grant. I would like to see it go forward. We all look forward to it.
Any other comments or rebuttals? Seeing none, what are council's wishes? Councillor Roper?
I'd like to make a motion if that's appropriate.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to support the full request from the Chamber of Commerce for the 2022 trade show. That would be sponsorship in the amount, one-time sponsorship in the amount of $15,000. Primary arena rental and portable sound system, $24.95.85. Secondary arena rental plus 2 inflatables and staff to go with it, $3,357.90. The total contribution would be $20,853.75.
Moved by Councillor Roper. Second by Councillor Enox. Is there any further discussion? Councillor, go ahead.
Do we need to add that the 15,000 is coming out of surplus and not out of taxation, or?
Right.
Just so it's clear.
It'd be good to have in the resolution.
Okay. Friendly amendment, will you accept a friendly amendment saying where it's coming from? Okay, so friendly amendment to add to that, that the funds will come from the general surplus. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That carries. Thank you. That brings us to item 7.3, Administrative Report 1523, Poplar Hills Golf and Country Club 2023 Budget Advance. Page 32.
Over the budget process and the discussion with the golf course board, it was noted that they needed monies to start up the golf course for the upcoming season. In doing so, they usually start around April 1st with the removal of the coverings on the greens and such, and needing some supplies in order to help with that. This monies would help them undertake those activities. Normally, the budget process, the monies would have been allocated usually in April month when the budget was approved earlier. This year, with the budget process not happening till mid-April, we would have, or they would have lost a couple of weeks of time getting towards the green, which then would set back the golf course season for people to use.
Councilor Roper?
Just a quick question. So are you saying that the grant for the golf course is dispersed just once a year?
From what I understand, Councillor Roper, it is half usually in the first half of the season, and then the second half would happen in, I think, September month, from what I understand.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments? Councilor Groving, please.
I'm not specific about the golf course, but due to the delayed budget process this year, I'm wondering if other groups are in the same situation. I don't know if we've heard from anybody else.
We haven't heard specifically from anyone else say this is the only organization. One of the things that we discussed is moving forward as part of when we take review the whole policy and process was looking at how those funds could be dispersed in calendar year appropriately as part of that policy piece. So a budget time doesn't necessarily delay or impact groups from a cash flow perspective for operating. I haven't heard anything else, Councilor, from anyone else.
Just wondering if we do move forward with this, if we could contact the other organizations. They just might be shy to be asking, or I don't know, maybe they have money in reserves that they're able to use until such time their budget is approved, but it might be something that we check back with those organizations.
Yeah, I can see, I can see that the golf course is weather dependent, right? Where many other organizations are not necessarily weather dependent, but could be hurting. Yeah. And so, you know, I would hope that as we go through deliberations with the budget and how we deal eventually with the golf course and society, that we're talking about startup funds and, you know, making sure that that they're looking for any surplus that they have going to the next year's startup fund, or that being at least one of the areas that we're comfortable with them using any surplus funds going to. You would hope that, you know, potentially the startup funds for the next year would be something that they would be setting money aside for if there was surplus funds. So, you know, when I looked at it, even if we went with last year's requisition for them, which is $110,000, and then we added 25,000 of them there, but even if you just went with the 110, divided that by 6 months, essentially, that comes to 18,000. So they're really asking for even less than what a 1 month, you know, disbursement would be. So I'm comfortable with advancing, because it's an advance, right? It's part of what we would give them. It's not added on to any request that they've asked for. It's just a disbursement early. Councilor Roper.
And I think if something changes during the budget process, we could make adjustments to the next payment and go from there.
Okay. Council's wishes, please. Councilor Roper.
I would make the motion to support the Poplar Hills Golf Country Club 2003 budget advance. What was the amount? It was
$14,500.
$14,500.
Moved by Counselor Roper. Second by Counselor Sauls. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to item 7.4, Administration Report 1623, the Rural Roads Network Maintenance Contract. The Director of Public Works is here to speak about this. Perfect.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We put an opportunity out for the rural roads road maintenance contract, and it closed, and staff did some thorough evaluations along with some consultants that were involved. And the evaluation resulted in a recommendation to radar road transport in the amount of $845,000 a year. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Ms. Watson? Wow.
Yeah, I'll ask you one.
Oh, Counselor Soul, please.
I've been on council for 11 and a half years and my road's still not paved. What's going on? Oh, oh, never mind.
Just so that you don't have that much pull out.
Never mind. I just, I wanted to commend the process that we've had local contractors now that have come up to the plate for a number of years. And prior to their doing so, we had some non-local contractors before who did a lousy job. And so I would like to make the recommendation that we follow through with this.
I would like to second that.
Okay. So could you read the recommendation, please?
That radar road transport contract commencing on June 1st, 2023, for a total annual fee of $848,845 plus applicable taxes for a 3-year term with option for a maximum 2 1 years.
Thank you. Moved by Counselor Soul, second by Counselor Gerwing. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Enoch? Oh, you were voting already. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.5, the Administration Report 1723, the grant application to UBC Community Emergency Preparedness. Staff, please.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a typical grant application to the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund. This one is the EOC capacity building and training stream. So we've outlined a small budget to purchase additional items for our push-to-talk communication system, including an additional base unit, some antenna, batteries, and chargers, some EOC laptops, and as well as supporting some EOC staff training opportunities. And we're hoping to hold some activation exercises, some tabletops here in town. So
Good. Thank you for that. Are there any questions? Are other council's wishes? Counselor Gerwing, please.
I'll make the recommendation that a grant application be submitted to UBCM 2023 Community Emergency Preparedness Fund, Emergency Operations Center and Training to fund up to $30,000 of eligible costs for the purchase of Emergency Operations Center supplies and equipment and EOC staff training and tabletop exercises.
Thank you. Moved by Counselor Gerwing, second by Counselor Enoch. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. That brings us to item 7.6, the procedure amendment bylaw 210/2023 for first and second reading, please. So this is our procedure bylaw that we've been working on for quite some time now, and there's been several iterations, and we're almost there. So if we can have first and second reading, there's a couple of minor things that I'd like to see go in there. We can do that before we come back with third reading. That's why I'm asking for first and second, not for second and third. So can I have a resolution for first and second reading? Moved by Counselor Roper. Second by Counselor Enoch. Discussion on that. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. 7.7 Northern Rockies Regional Municipality Zoning Amendment Bylaw, accessible parking, 2/11/2023 for third reading and adoption. Zandacaria, please, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everyone. I'm bringing back this zoning amendment bylaw to which Regional Council gave first and second reading on February 27th, and pursuant to Council's consideration regarding providing the public hearing notification. The public hearing notification was published on 15th and 22nd of March 2023. Generally speaking, legislation requires public hearing is held with proper public notification, and affected property owners are notified, as well as referrals are sent to the external agencies if applicable. In this instance, however, notice to affected property owners and referrals were not applicable because of the administrative nature of the amendment. And public hearing held prior to this meeting fulfilled the legislative requirement. So we are good to move forward. Thank you.
Questions from Ms. Zandacaria? Please.
Yeah, I'm sorry if this was answered before, but I missed that last meeting where this was discussed. When I read through it, I see that the zoning allows for an auto body repair, not a general repair shop. And on page 48 of their letter indicates that they are going to have a repair center. So my question is it like a maintenance shop for their equipment, or are they actually thinking about creating a shop for like a repair shop? Because they used, it's their words, a repair shop.
I'm sorry, Councillor Garvin.
Am I in the wrong report?
We are in different report.
Oops. Okay. Well, just hold track of that question for the next one.
Are there any questions on zoning amendment bylaw number 211? What are council switches?
I make a recommendation that the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality Zoning Amendment, accessible parking bylaw number 211 of 2023 be given third reading and adoption, incorporating CSA B 651-18 standards specific to accessible parking in the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality zoning bylaw number 119 of 2016.
Moved by Councillor Sol, second by Councillor Roper. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That carries. Thank you. Northern Rockies Regional Municipality Official Community Plan Amendment Bylaw, Large Holdings Agricultural Highway Commercial number 213, and Zoning Amendment Bylaw A2 Agricultural Small Holdings to C3 Service Commercial number 214. The first and second readings be given to the official community plan, and first and second readings given to the zoning amendment bylaw, and a public hearing to be scheduled for May the 8th. Secretary, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This report is in relation to the application that was discussed on Committee of Whole meeting held on February 27th. And as per Council's recommendation, Council recommended to proceed with the preparation of amendment bylaw. The bylaw number 213 and 214 attached to the report is seeking for the first and second reading, as Council has already identified. The next steps in regard to the zoning amendment process would be to include the schedule for the public hearing date, and providing public notification to the affected property owners, as well as providing the referral to the Ministry of Transportation, as the parcel is located within the 800 meters of the controlled access highway intersection. Yeah, that's everything from my end, and I would be happy to answer any question you may have. I'm sorry, Councillor Gervin, you may have to repeat the question because I was kind of confused.
Thank you very much, Sandacaria. Are there any questions from council? Council Gerwin, do you have a question?
No, I'm good.
No. You're awesome. Council Gerwin, please.
Do I need to repeat it all again? Okay, so when I read the letter that came from the proponent, it says that part of the plan is to have a repair center on the land that they're asking for rezoning of. But when I check the zoning, it says that they can have a body shop repair. So my question is it a repair shop, like a maintenance shop just for their own equipment that they're going to be utilizing? Or are they thinking about having a, like a repair center, like their word is repair center? So I just want some clarification on what that is looking like.
In my understanding, it was the vehicles as well as pipelines repairs. However, in the zoning bylaw, we only had auto body repairs that would fit this intended use. And that's the reason why auto body repair was used for the vehicle, as well as the pipeline repair maintenance. Yes.
Okay, so I'm just having a little trouble hearing. What? So I'm sorry, I'm just like, so on page 48, their word is, and a service and repair shop as permitted in the proposed C zone. So is what I heard you say is because what's permitted is an auto body shop, that's all that they would be doing?
They would be doing auto body shop repair as well as the pipeline minor repairs. So
Okay,
there will be
so
both things.
they aren't thinking about opening up like a service station, like a service repair center, like we have companies in town that are doing, I don't want to mention any names, but you know, I'm going like, whoever does repair work on vehicles, that wouldn't be allowed in this zoning, right?
I can seek further clarification from applicant regarding this, if they would like to have a separate maintenance service per vehicle. Yeah, that I can bring that information further.
Yeah, okay, I would just, yeah, like some clarification on what they mean by service and repair shop. Yeah, okay, thank you.
So as far as process goes, that's, we can do first and second reading, that information can come forward at the time of the public hearing or before the public hearing. All that information we can, does this stop us from doing any notification to private landowners or publications in the newspaper?
No, it won't.
No. Okay, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so council's wishes? That's a good question. Yes. So the option is that staff proceed with preparing an amendment to the zoning bylaw for first and second readings, further the public hearing and appropriate notice be scheduled for the 8th of May. That's right, 8th of May. Did I get that all in there? I think I was looking at a different spot.
You got the gist of it.
Okay, that first and second readings, I apologize for, I was reading the end of the report rather than the recommendation. That first and second readings begin with the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality Official Community Plan Amendment, Highway 77 Large Holding Agriculture to Highway Commercial Bylaw number 213/2023. And the first and second readings be given to the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality Zoning Amendment, Highway 77 A2 Agricultural Small Holdings to C3 Service Commercial Bylaw 214/2023, associated with the parcel land located at mile 317 Alaska Highway, legally described as District Lot 2725, Peace River District, except Plan 25247, and that a public hearing be scheduled for May the 8th, 2023 at 6 p.m.
Second,
Okay. You want to move it? I just read it. Moved by Councillor Scholes.
I thought you moved it.
I'll make myself clear there. I'll read these, but I tend not to be in the habit of making.
No, I get it. I know that, but I thought I'd try to poke you and see if you would do it this time.
Okay, moved by Councillor Scholes. Is there a seconder, please? Seconded by Councillor Roper. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. All right, that takes us to correspondence. So first item for correspondence for discussion is a letter from Taryn Dolan at the Northern Rockies Eco Cleaning, the garbage bin cleaning service.
I would like to pull that for discussion, please.
Moved by Councillor Gerwing, seconded by Councillor Roper, that we discussed this. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Yeah, so while I don't think I'm not looking to come to council for $91,000, I just think that it's an interesting or could be an interesting project, and given our continual problem with bears in certain areas of our community, I'm wondering if this is something that we would like to seek funding for from somewhere to do a pilot especially in the high bear traffic area. We know where they are. WildSafe has done the mapping, so we have the mapping. We know where the corridor is. And I'm wondering if we could find funding from somewhere, if this is something that council would be interested to do as a pilot. So I guess I'm just wondering what thoughts of council is to request some more information or do some research as to if this process even works.
Councillor Roper?
Yeah, I just think this is a genius idea, especially in regards to mitigating human bear conflicts. We've done other steps before, like the locking mechanisms on the garbage cans for those high trafficked areas. But I think just from the information in this request here, this could go a long way to making sure that bears stay out of our neighborhoods. I don't know how the logistics would work. Someone has a half full bin and they come up to wash it. What happens at that point? But I do support this idea of washing these bins and especially the bear deterrent air freshener. I don't know what that is, but it sounds good to me. So yeah, if we could find some funding, absolutely. I don't know about the $10 a month or whatever it would be additional. I think that would be a hard sell for residents, and the $91,000 seems like a high cost right now, but I'm sure there's funding out there. I think we could find something to start this as a pilot project. Absolutely.
And I mean, $91,000 he's quoting for the whole community. But if we just did a pilot in pick one of the corridors where the bears continue to frequent Gardner Sub or like whatever.
Or once a month washing or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I have to disagree with you guys. I just don't see us requiring people ever or starting a new service in the community, because that's essentially what you're talking about, starting a new service. For something is in the bylaws, the responsibility of the homeowner. And these people have a great business idea. And they've piloted their business idea around the community, and should continue to do that as a private business opportunity in the community. And for us to legislate it or to pay for it, I think is not an appropriate way to go. And I can see us being concerned about these bins when they're full, and the bylaw deals with that. The bylaw deals with people making sure that they don't have smells and, you know, that these bins are looked after properly. And to me, that includes washing them and, you know, and I'd also like to, you know, have we received any complaints with bears that have wrecked these bins because they've been sitting out smelly and dirty and not full? I suspect we've had bins that have been pulled over when they're full on garbage day when they've been put out. But I wonder if we've had any complaints about bins that have been destroyed because they're sitting out empty and they just happen to smell bad. I don't know that I can agree with the with the comment from the game warden that says this will significantly reduce the bear human impacts just by washing these bins. I just don't feel that I've heard from anybody that this is a big problem out there with empty bins being destroyed. So I have to disagree. That's my comment. Anybody else?
I'm curious since obviously the word is out that he's providing this service to some degree and some people are taking advantage of it. So if he said he had 50 customers already sort of on a pilot, let's encourage him to see how many customers he can get in the coming year. And because 50 is what, 7% of 700 bins. So maybe he'll get up to 20% by the second year or something like that. And I think it's a good business opportunity that if people want, because there's really nothing stopping someone from using their own garden hose for washing their own bin either. So this, I think it's better to encourage him to offer this service privately.
Are there any other comments? What are council's wishes? Hearing no wishes, we'll move on to the next order of business. There is a 8.2 letter from Dwayne Legge, I don't know how to pronounce that, Special Programs Coordinator for the Community Literacy Society. It's there for discussion. Would council like to discuss it?
Just a quick question. Is there an opportunity for them to apply for a grant and aid, the $1,000? Is that would this qualify for that?
Can you move for discussion? Okay. That's right. Move for discussion by councilor.
Move for discussion. Very sorry.
Sorry. Seconder? Councilor Dickey, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Ask your questions, please.
Thank you. Is there an opportunity for them to apply to our current grant system, the grant and aid, $1,000?
The Community Literacy Society would be eligible, and I just took a brief review. It doesn't appear that they've applied for this calendar year at this time.
This seems like a very worthwhile project to me. It looks like the Literacy Society is looking to leverage some funds that they would be expected to raise with the locally to leverage it with the Dolly Parton Library Foundation, something like that. Imagination Library, I think it's called. I think they have the ability to, I don't think they're asking us for the full $4,600. They're just saying that they have to raise $4,600. And I think if we ask them to put in an application for the $1,000, then that would be a good thing. And if any of us, there's somebody that I certainly will approach and ask them to make a donation for some or all of the rest. So I'm prepared to support this, moving it to the grant and aid.
Are you looking for a motion right now?
I would
Can
be
we do
looking
that?
for a motion to receive the letter and ask staff to work with the Literacy Society with respect to the grant and aid, $1,000 grant and aid.
Excellent. So moved.
Second by Councilor Enoch. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. I've got 8.5, sorry, 8.4. I don't know why I circled 8.5. 8.4, the letter from Ann Kang, Minister of Municipal Affairs, re the Growing Communities Fund. I'd like that, move that forward for discussion.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Roper. Second by Councillor Souls. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. So the reason I asked for this to come forward for discussion is because I think there's a request. Now, I think the grant has been transferred to us already. But I think there's a requirement for there to be a bylaw put in place, and for us to just receive this for information and not request staff to go ahead and put the bylaw in place, I think would be a mistake. And so that's why I asked it to come forward for discussion.
Not a clarification.
Yes, you may.
Yeah, so point of clarification, why would we need a bylaw that would enable us to spend this? So procedurally, could you explain to me why we need a bylaw?
Because the minister letter says, as a condition of this funding, the grant must be placed in a segregated reserve fund established by bylaw under section 188 of the community charter.
All right, there you go, thanks.
If you read this letter, you could have missed that pretty easily. So, yeah, so as soon as I saw that there was normally yeah, it's a grant like any other, but there's very specific requests. Obviously, the province wants to track, they want to make sure, because it's also, there's an expectation that this is incremental projects, not, they want you to just fund your regular budget for this year. They want us to add stuff. And so by putting a bylaw together, we can have a discussion with ourselves and with staff about what the spending of this, how we're going to use this, whether we're going to leverage it, where we're going to dump it all in one project, what do we want to do with it? And so by pulling together a bylaw, I think that helps with that. So I'm looking for direction to ask staff to develop a bylaw according to this fund transfer. Moved by Councillor Roper. I see his head going up and down. Second.
Yes. Motion moved.
Did I see Councillor Dickey's hand going up? Second by Councillor Dickey. Is there any further discussion or clarification? Seeing no further discussion or clarification, questions, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. That's all I had for discussion. So we can receive for information item 8.8 from the Ombudsman, item 8.5, the letter from Joel McKay, information package March 15th, and the information package of March 22nd. Somebody move those for information, please. Moved by Councillor Sowell, second by Councillor Roper. Are there any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. I would like to say that I read the report from the Ombudsman on fairness, and it's really simple to read, and it's actually pretty good. So once I'm done, maybe I'll just hand it off to somebody, and you can hand it off to somebody after you read it if you're interested or not. But there's some very interesting stuff with respect to procedural fairness in there. It's very short, big letters. I could even read it without my glasses. So it was good. All right. That brings us to new business items. I don't have anything, items of new business. There's one, 10.2 is confirmation of Northern Rockies Regional Hospital District meeting with the capital, with a capital presentation from Northern Health. And so we're looking for a date of April 17th at 12 p.m. Everybody check. Oh, okay. Okay. You're not here April 17th?
It's a Monday.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I think.
Okay, I'm good. Okay, so there's confirmation. We'll confirm that with Northern Health. Okay, standing items for discussion. Councillor Enox.
Thank you. I was talking to Ryan Dickey this morning and they're pretty excited. The Men's Hand Game Society is putting off a tournament August 4th to 6th in the rec center. They figure they're going to have over 300 people playing, not including family, you know, the family members that will travel here. $75,000 in prize money will be won through that weekend, all of which they've raised since 2019, and obviously from the entry fee of the teams signing up. They're going to have a big bingo on August 5th, so that should be a really busy weekend in town. And I'd also like to congratulate Buddy Streeper and the rest of his team, Lena and the girls. He just won his 3rd time Triple Crown. So, and my count, I believe, I'm sure if he's listening, he'll correct me. Between Terry, Lena, and Buddy, they now have 23 world championships. So that's all I needed to say. Congratulations.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to the hand games. That sounds like it's going to be a big deal. Oh, Councillor Enox.
And April 1st, the Streeper Kennels will be putting off the Canadian Open dog sled right along our Alaska Highway.
For sure, it's at April Fool's.
Nope, for sure.
So show up, everybody. It's not April Fool's.
And that's it.
Are there any other councillor reports before I do mine? No? Okay, then I would just like to briefly talk about the LGLA conference that I went to. Was good. I always learn something from these, even though there are some, if you're experienced councillor, you've been around before, elected official, there's some repetitiveness. There's no doubt about it, because there's some basic things that every new councillor should learn, or elected official should learn, and it's a good refresher as well. But there were some highlights that I just wanted to talk about. There was a very good panel on codes of conduct, and I was hoping that in our strat planning we'd be able to get to that. And sure enough, there was a couple of questions. Our contractor is thinking along the same lines there too. So that was good, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity to get to that while we do our strat planning next couple of days. There was a very good presentation by David Allen, who's executive assistant for, just lost it, AMBC, and I just forget that it's an organization that does a lot of funding in government, provincial government, local government, and he had a very good point with respect to reserve financing policies, and how if you're not doing it right, there's that foregone interest that you miss out on if you're really not paying attention to the way you're dealing with your reserves. So those interest and investment revenues that you get from having those reserves, you know, especially if you've got long-term reserve commitments, there's an opportunity there to have a significant amount of revenues to look forward to the future. And then that was followed up by asset management by Christina Bentley, who does a great job on that. Dynamics and decision making from Tracy Lorenzen, very good with respect to interaction and decision making, some of the pitfalls, recognizing conflict and when it can arise, understanding some of the things we learned today, understanding conflict as it arises within your team, and understanding how to deal with that. She had some great points there, so that was very good. Then I have a bit of a handout that came from her, and then a lot of repetitive sort of things that we do in local government. And then finally, Jan Enns from Jan Enns Communication did a master your media message, dealing with the media, understanding, being prepared, understanding your audience, understanding their audience, understanding the different types of media. Where if you're on TV or radio, it needs to be very short. Where if it's print, it can be a little bit longer. You know, preparing yourself and the messages, key messages that you want to send. So it was very good. So I thought it was very worthwhile seminar to attend. And yeah, I think if you're on council again or get elected again in the next term, then it's worthwhile for us to take that. So that was mainly what I did. I went out of town to do that last week. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none. We will go to the question, public and media question period. Is there any public or media online that nobody's online? Is there anybody in the room who would like to speak? Please. Sure.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank you for your support of the trade show. It really is an important activity here in the community, and being able to relieve some of the anxiety around expenses means that we can concentrate more of our efforts on really pulling this together and making it happen for the community this year. So I just wanted to take a moment and thank you for your support. We do really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Provide a good service in the community. Thank you. We need a resolution to go in camera one more time, please, for labor relations or other employee relations. Moved by Councillor Dickey, second by Councillor Roper. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you. We are recessed till we go into closed personnel meeting. Thank you. So we will reconvene the regular meeting as we have finished the in-camera portion. There is no report to rise with. So I believe adjournment is in order of the regular council meeting. Moved by Councillor Dickey, second by Councillor Roper. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.